Hey you guys, I hope y'all are doing really well. I just want to mention a few things first. So I've been a little inconsistent with YouTube lately, so I'm definitely going to try to step it up a little bit this November. A lot happened. And before I started, just really wanted to show you guys my snake root plant. This here is just beautiful. This was in a prior video, and it's finally starting to get its fall coloration, and it just grew really just splendidly this year. It's quite tall for its variety. Now, today I just really wanted to talk about arum. So this over here is the painted arum, also known as the guet, also known as Italian lords and ladies. Has several different common names, and it's just really beautiful. So this over here, one thing I just really wanted to say is it's a very toxic plant. Do not recommend eating this at all. What it does is it gets into your duodenum and your lower intestinal tract, and it gives you almost like a sunburn from inside out, so do not eat this plant at all. Really highly toxic. Fortunately, the corms, or the regenerative part, are not toxic, but the leaves, well, they're mildly toxic, but not to the touch. The leaves, the fruit, particularly the fruit, the berries are extremely toxic, and I do not recommend planting them near children. This here is very similar to a northwestern native plant, the Jack in the, trying to remember the name, Jack in the pulpit plant, which is also a different type of arum. So don't confuse these two. That one over there is our local one. It has more of a pitcher type flower form. Completely different anatomy other than that, and it's a completely different order of plants. So anyways, this plant over here is native to southern Italy, particularly southern eastern Italy. So Lecce and Bari are kind of the areas where this is more naturally prevalent. But another thing I will say is it's becoming more naturalized in parts of Western Europe, such as France and Spain, the whole Iberian Peninsula, really including Portugal. So for that reason, if you're in an area that's prone to getting invaded by this plant, I recommend planting it either in pots or just not dealing with it at all. So yes, this here is purely an ornamental plant. So to get into it, has these beautiful berries. They're born in clusters of almost 30 sometimes. I tried another variety of this last year. It was a yellow variety, and it has this really interesting painted sword-shaped foliage to it. It has a really striking venation. They're really thick, almost succulent leaves. They have a kind of a papery, gritty kind of texture on the bottom of the leaves. Another thing I will say is this plant here grows completely basally, so it doesn't have like a central stalk or anything like that. It sets its blooms, which are white in color, later on into the season, so like May, June. And the leaves die down and you're just left with the stalks, so it actually looks really silly. It just kind of has these stalks with these berries that just come right out of the soil, and they just look like little wands of happy little berries, and I highly recommend it. It's a very versatile, showy plant in the garden, and I think it should be more mainstream. So anyways, it has these corms, and you're going to want to plant these in November when it starts getting quite cold outside. It was -3 degrees Celsius here last night, so that's how I know it's cold enough. This over here is going to be your growing point. It looks kind of like a shark tooth. And these over here are going to be your new adventitious roots. Right underneath, a lot of people mistake those for fungus, but that's actually the roots. If you're going to store these, store them in a dry area, much like you would a hyacinth or a hardy gloxinia or another hardy bulb. Usually when you buy these, they come in bran, or I guess you could say feed shavings, or sometimes they'll come in like a more perlite kind of situation. That's just for preservation of the stalk. I highly recommend planting these about 3 times the height of the rhizome, which is about an inch deep down into the soil. So 3 inches below the top of this growing point. And yeah, so they're cold hardy to about -15 degrees Celsius. If you plant them a little deeper, I think you can get away with even colder than that, 25 degrees below. Has a mature spread of about a foot, mature height of a little under 2 feet, and I just think it's a beautiful variety of plant. They look really good en masse, so planted in groups. This is a plant that is a very good companion to asters and other fall blooming amusing plants, simply because it has this really nice top anatomy to it. It's a good food source for many birds. Highly recommend not touching this as a culinary crop for people. Extremely toxic to us, but very striking in the garden, very pretty. Comes in many shades of brighter reds and pinks and yellows and oranges as far as the berries themselves go. I've even seen white. Yeah, so a few things to consider. If you see a little bit of green dust on the tops, or a little bit of what looks like desiccating brown material, this is perfectly natural. This is just kind of the way it emerges. It's not rot. If you want to divide these, simply cut the corms in half. An interesting thing about this plant is you don't need multiple eyes on the corms. They'll automatically regrow for you, so you can just kind of cut any piece you want. And I'll be sure to update you guys later because I really want to see how these grow. I've never tried this particular variety. I've tried the yellow one, but never the red one. And yeah, I hope you guys have a fantastic day. I'm filming this on Halloween, which is the 31st of October for those who don't celebrate. So we'll see when I end up posting this. I have so many other videos that I just haven't gone around to posting. So we'll see when or if I end up posting them, or if I'll come out with other content later on. Yeah, I don't know if you can see my breath, like, don't know if you saw that. It's really cold where I live right now. Another thing I just really wanted to show you is this here's my Metasequoia glibdisturboides. This is my Dawn Redwood, and it's just got this beautiful coloration. Don't know if you saw, I wrote a couple of notes, so wanted to remember this. This is actually my homework that I wrote these notes on, so you can tell how organized I am. Resembles Jack in the Pulpit plant, Italian Lords and... yeah, so just really basic. So have a good day, you guys. As always, thank you for your support. I love you, and stay safe. Happy Halloween.